Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we're going to be doing some Retribution Paladin testing with the new rotation assist and the single button accessibility feature, and just kind of going over how well it is for Ret Paladin right now, and kind of giving feedback to Blizzard, feedback to players, and letting anyone else see it or experience it or whatever, whether you are someone who is already on the channel who is looking for like guides, or if you are a newer player like, okay, how do I play Ret Paladin? Is this thing good? Can I try it? Whoever this is for. If you're more worried about like just talking about the existence of the features themselves, I did a video on that. You can go watch that video. This is mostly going to be just from the perspective of a Ret Paladin and testing it and giving feedback basically. So we're going to see if it's telling us to do stuff in the correct order, and we're going to see just everything like that. So let's go ahead. We're going to start with the rotation assist first. This is going to highlight the ability that it wants us to press next. So we'll be basing it basically off of the APL for raid bots, basically. Maybe I'll mess up occasionally or something like that, but generally that's what we're going to be going off of here. So as our opener, it wants us to use execution sentence as an opener. So immediately that's wrong, right? We're not going to open with execution sentence. It's going to end up desyncing everything up over the course of things. We also have Divine Hammer talented. We need to get that rolling. And of course we have Radiant Glory talented. So we're always going to want to link our execution sentence with our Wake of Ashes basically. So let's go ahead and just start it without using, what they're telling us to start on the one button thing, and see what it tells us to press next. So we're going to go a little bit slow here just to see what it's telling us to press. I was going to try to just compare DPS, but I could not get details to work tonight. Maybe I can do that in the future. I couldn't get details to work, so I just kept getting errors, no matter what I tried to do to update it. I'm sure there's a workaround somehow that I didn't do, but we can do that in the future. So let's go ahead. We're going to start with Blade of Justice. And it should tell us to press Divine Toll. It is not. We press Divine Toll, then once we get to 5, now it's telling us to press Divine Hammer, which is correct. Now, Execution Sentence. Now it's telling us to press Verdict, which is kind of true, because we waited so long, right? We need to make sure that's Xpurg's on there. We use Hammer of Wrath only when we need to. Blade. Judgment. So this stuff is kind of good. That procs, we use that. So now we would technically use Judgment here instead of Blade, because our Blade's not falling off soon. We can go ahead and use that instead. So it's just not pairing up our Wake automatically with our execution sentence, and that is going to cause some. I'm kind of just pressing off of memory now instead of following them, but that's going to cause some issues, especially further along in a fight. So it's interesting it tells us to use Divine Toll there, which would technically be fine. But everything is so already disjointed. Is it going to switch to Wake? It's literally not telling us to switch to Wake of Ashes there. That's crazy. Okay. So obviously that's an issue. We'll go through. We'll let this Holy Power fall off and leave combat and stuff. We'll go through and show how bad that's going to desync things. So the opener itself isn't correct. We want to build to 5. Once we built to 5, it became correct. But we want to build to 5, use Divine Hammer, then use Execution Sentence, then use our Wake of Ashes immediately, Hammer of Light, and then kind of do the normal priority stuff, which is probably very simple to program for them. Just the normal stuff. One thing I'll say, and I don't know if they have conditional things in this thing. This is new, of course, right? But Judgment actually is priority over Blade unless your dot's about to fall off, right? So you want to keep your dot up, but that doesn't mean you just keep spamming Blade all the time. Now for a new player, that's fine. At least if you're spamming Blade all the time, you're never losing your dot. That's not the biggest deal. That's like a minute thing. I wouldn't even worry about that. I would worry about the opener and the desyncing of Execution Sentence with Wake of Ashes on the when you have when you have Divine Hammer taken and Radiant Glory taken, you really need to focus on those things. So let's just press the buttons they tell us to press, and let's see how bad this desyncs everything, because this is going to be very telling. So I'm going to start with execution sentence because that's what the single button thing is telling us to do. So I'm going to start with execution sentence this time and see what it says to do. So we're going to execution sentence. We're going to blade. We're going to wake. We're going to now divine hammer. Now we're going to toll. Now we're going to hammer of wrath into divine hammer, into verdict, into blade, into verdict, into judgment, into verdict, into hammer, into verdict, into verdict, into blade, verdict. Oh, it switched on me on the last second there. Okay, hammer. Oh, it didn't even tell me to press hammer or hammer of light. I just pressed it. Okay, I'm pressing that. I'm pressing that. I'm pressing that. Okay, I'm finally pressing Wake of Ashes. I'm hammer of lighting. Oh, I got to make sure I'm sometimes clicking a little bit too quickly. I need to just do what it tells me to do. Verdict, verdict. Oh, it took a while, then told me to do something. Okay. Blade, verdict, judgment, verdict, verdict. Execution sentence. Oops, I just pressed something there. Got that rolling. Okay, we're finally using our Wake of Ashes. Okay. Divine Toll. It's not like it's pretty off sync, but it's not as bad as I thought it might be already. Okay, we're not using our Hammer of Light yet. We're using Hammer of Wrath instead. Now we're just using nothing. Nothing's lit up. I'm going to use Hammer of Light. Nothing lit up there, so that's an issue, obviously. If somebody's relying completely on the green thing and nothing's lighting up, that's obviously an issue. Okay. Wait, did it get any more offset? No, it's still about 6 or 7 seconds offset. It would have been more, though, because I was just sitting there with nothing to press with the green. Let's see what it tells me to do. Okay, so right here, it's telling me to do nothing. Okay, Hammer of Wrath. Now nothing. Now I just do nothing. Obviously, I need to press my Hammer of Light. So that obviously needs fix. Execution sentence. Divine Hammer. Judgment. That. Okay, that's going to be even more off sync now. That. Okay, so we're up to 9 seconds off sync. And you can kind of see, and the other thing is it doesn't appear that the proc of Hammer of Light that we build up is triggering on here at all to press. Execution sentence, verdict, verdict, judgment, verdict, blade, verdict. Okay, so this time we synced it up as much as we could. At least it kind of worked out that way. So again, like the Hammer of Light's not, going off at all. I don't think it just ever goes off. Okay. All right, so I mean, our rotation isn't that complicated. We're gonna keep seeing the same things over and over again. Hammer rolling it, or yep. Nope, it told us to do that. So it tells me to do. So it's not telling me. It's not taking into account that I need to like wait just a tick second to, because then I'll have enough holy power to do the thing. It's just telling me to go ahead and press it, which is fine. It's going to just result in some unnecessary overcapping. But yeah, then it very quickly tells you to switch some other times. It's just telling me to spam Hammer of Wrath for some reason. Oh, because it's telling me to spam Hammer of Wrath, I think, because the target dummy is almost dead or something. I don't know. Is that why? It's just like use it. So our execution sentence is 16 seconds off now from our Wake of Ashes. So we didn't yeah, so it's not the best, right? Some of it's good, but what we really need to focus on, like I said, is linking up the execution sentence with the Wake of Ashes. I think that's easy enough, right? You press, because even if this is going to overcap you, right? If you have to simplify it, you press execution sentence, you press Wake of Ashes when you have Radiant Glory on. You could just do that, right? And that would be better than desyncing it by 16 seconds after what, like 3 minutes of fighting or something. That would be better than that. So, and in a couple of those times, I accidentally helped the game by pressing the correct button when it wasn't telling me to press the correct button. So then the single target thing, we'll go through it. It's going to be the same thing because it's telling me it's using the same thing, except for maybe because it has the the 0.3 second GCD penalty, maybe it'll give it time to correct itself a little bit more. But let's go through the single button thing as well. So we're just going to do whatever it says. We're going to press one button on the keyboard. So we're going to go with execution sentence, blade, wake, hammer, toll, hammer of wrath, blade, judgment, verdict, nothing to press, verdict, hammer of light, verdict, blade, verdict, judgment. With this GCD thing, it is actually, because it's not switching between things constantly, that part is actually a little bit better. I'll say that. So we're already starting to desync. It's telling us to use that instead of wake there. Ugh, I just don't like the desync. We're already 6 seconds desynced, and we just started. Okay, so that actually used our hammer of light there, even though it did not light it up. So there's an issue with the light up versus what's going on. So that's why sometimes it just wasn't telling me to press it at all. On the single target thing, something else was lit up, but it used hammer of light. So it does know to use hammer of light at least. Get that rolling. Verdict. Verdict. Wake. What are we? 7 seconds. 7.5 seconds off. Our divine toll is 12 or 11 seconds off of our divine hammer. It's going to just cause problems later on. But honestly, again, it's just the same thing that I was already talking about with the helper thing. If you, obviously your DPS is going to be bad if you use the single target thing, right? Because we finally got a tier set proc there. It's just going to be bad, obviously. We're now 12 seconds off. But it is a little bit better because it gives it time to fix itself with that GCD penalty. It gives it time to like get that finish off your auto attack kind of. Get the hammer rolling. You really want to get your hammer rolling first if possible. Now we're gonna wake. How far are we off now? Oh, we're up to 14 seconds off now. That's crazy. Okay. So that's really, again, it's not like our rotation is like the most difficult thing in the entire world or anything, right? So let's see. Am I even going to get my Wake of Ashes into my execution sentence on this one? So this is how far we've come, right? So I'm clicking now because I was about done. Nope. So it got so far off that we did not use our Wake of Ashes into it, and now we are using it just afterward randomly, and we are 18 seconds off. So yeah, it just gets worse and worse as you go, and it's going to keep getting worse. Like if you mess up on your own when you're playing, you can kind of fix it, but this doesn't have the capacity to fix it, which is understandable. But what you could do then is you could just force cast Wake of Ashes after your execution sentence. So that's kind of my feedback for this. I think it's a great tool I think the accessibility thing is great because nobody in high-end content is going to use it. It's not going to be good for, min-maxing. But it's great for people who just are struggling or literally have a disability, right? That's what it's for. And then the helper thing, that just needs refined a little bit. We have the type of rotation that can kind of work with it. Yes, we have a decent amount of procs and stuff like that. And sometimes we have multiple buttons we can press. But this isn't the hardest thing to do because it honestly just looks like you need to get Divine Hammer up in the priority and then just link Wake of Ashes with Execution Sentence. And it would probably help. That alone and then just following it would probably help, like, I don't know, a huge percentage of the player base, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, that's my feedback for it. I wanted to do that because they asked for feedback in their blue post, and I wanted to give that feedback. The cooldown manager, they said that they're going to continue working on that. I'll reiterate that again. Let's go to, well, it should just pop up when I'm in combat. Let's focus. I'm going to focus on the cooldown manager really quick since it's just a feedback video basically. Do I not have it on? Apparently not. That's on, but my bars are not on. Or no, it's just because I have nothing on to track, I guess. So Divine Hammer. I want to see Divine Hammer up here on the tracker. I know I can see the number here, But I want to see that here, okay? Just like execution sentence, see how I can see that? I want to see divine hammer here. That's a really big change I would like to see. Shake the Heavens is on there. That's fine. I love Shake the Heavens on there. And then the other one that I already made a video about this, but I want to see the divine toll on here as well. So I want to see divine hammer as a bar that counts down, and I want to see divine toll as a bar that counts down. So that's my cooldown manager feedback. I did that in a separate video, but I figured I would just throw that in here as well. So if you take all the things I said, I think that would immediately make them usable, even in like regular content, right? Even like heroic raid, probably the assistant, at least. The single button's not meant for that, unless you have a disability. Use it in, you can use it in Mythic Raid if you have a disability or whatever, and you are in Mythic Raid. I'm not trying to judge anybody for that. I'm talking about just as like the average player or whatever. But the assistant, with those switches, it would probably help a good percentage of the player base, if I'm being completely honest. So, of the ret player base. So, that's it for this one, guys. I wish I had more ret content to do. I know I've been doing a lot of other content. I appreciate if you watch those videos and like them too. But there's just not much ret stuff to talk about. I'll be back on here when I get my details damage meter working, and we can actually show. I have a feeling it's going to be a drastic. Like, I'll do my own rotation. I won't even be perfect, I'm sure. I'll do the normal rotation versus this, and I'll show you the differences in it. But I have a feeling it's going to be quite drastic based on that testing I just did. So, as always, I do ask you to subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to go check out the Patreon. You can join for free. Some of the posts you can just see. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.